All right, well, today we're gonna be working on this blue piece of junk. Let me show you kind of what we got going on here. Get the hood opened up here. Okay, look at that beautiful 6.7 power stroke there. As many of you guys might know, these 6.7s, or I guess these Alumiduties, are having an issue where Ford designed the water to kind of run off the hood here, down off of here, and down here, right on top of the battery junction box. Now, I don't really know what Ford was quite thinking, but water and electrical doesn't really go all that well together. You know, they kind of do some funky stuff. But anyways, today we got to pull the battery out of here, the whole battery box and everything. We got to pull the battery junction box out, and we're gonna throw some dielectric grease in the bottom of it, and we're gonna silicone the top lid, and hopefully that helps, because right now every time the roads get wet, and it's Wyoming, winter, water doesn't go all that great together. The truck, I mean, it just absolutely freaks out. And by freaks out, I mean it goes into limp mode. It'll shift from like 1st to 10th and back down to 8th and then up to 7, and or I guess down to 7 and back up to 10, down to 5, up to 8. All that. I mean, it goes into limp mode. Whenever the roads are wet, it's practically impossible to drive. I mean, it's just not fun. It throws traction control lights, stabilitrac, collision assist. Just, it's terrible. I took it over to Ford just because I didn't want to diagnose it. Paid them $200. They told me it's the battery junction box, and well, when it's dry it doesn't have a problem. So I'm hoping the battery junction box isn't completely junk, and that maybe we can just seal it up, clean it out, you know, clean all the connections and everything, get it sealed up, and hopefully it'll work. If not, we're going to end up having to replace it, which it's not a big deal. They're like $300, but I figured we'd give it a little shot before just replacing it. So I guess we're going to see what happens. All right, first we got to pull this trailer out there. I'm going to try and do it with my hands. It's not a big old trailer. It's pretty light. You can pick it up with one arm, but I mean, I probably should just pick it up with the truck. Yeah, no, we're just going to hook the truck up to it, pull it out, make it easier. Can somebody please tell me whose idea it was to put this just monstrous, like 3.5-inch hitch on a pickup? Like, most hitches are 2. I mean, I know, I get it, you can buy the adapter sleeves, but why would you, what is the point? Someone please tell me the point of this, because I'm going to pull this trailer out, and I ain't going to put a sleeve in there to change it or neck it all the way down to a 2-inch. So it's going to be dangling, but someone please make sense of that for me. I really want to know.
That looks absolutely ridiculous, but I mean, it's going to work. I'm literally pulling like a 1,000-pound trailer 40 feet, so don't jump me. Oh, it's not going to work, it's going to break, it's going to fall off, because it's not. I'm going like 4 miles an hour for 30 feet. It'll be okay, I promise. All right, well, we're going to unhook the negative over here, and we're going to pull the whole battery and battery box and everything out on this side. All right, let's get her done. All right, so we got the battery and the battery tray out. I want to say that took about 5 minutes maybe. Now, here's the battery junction box. You got 2 tabs up top to pull this cover off here. So there's the cover. Tells you all your fuse numbers and whatever and whatnot, you know. Okay. And then this down here is where the water's leaking into. See now, there's no rubber gasket here or on here, which is definitely a design flaw by Ford. Especially since they routed, all right, I'm gonna put this thing over here. Since they routed the water to drain down onto here, and then it literally runs and drips right off of this, right on top of that. I mean, wonderful design. And now these are 7s, so we gotta pull these 2 out here, and then there's 2 clips down here you gotta undo, and the whole deal should pop right on out. Okay, well, this can't be good. I grabbed a 7, and I went to put it on there to make sure that it fits. And let me show you something. By hand. I mean, I don't think these are supposed to be super duper tight. I haven't tried this one yet. Yeah, both of those were finger tight, literally. I'm gonna look up the Ford spec on those, because I don't think that's right. That could be part of my issue. That could be allowing water up underneath there where the 2 big plugs are. If they're not tight, water could definitely be seeping in there. All right, well, here's the battery junction box out of the truck. You can see there's just the 2 bolts that go down in the connectors, the 2 clips on the side, and then the 1 10-mil bolt over there that clamps on right there. And, you know, I'm not seeing a whole lot. There is some dust and whatever, you know, which not get out in there, and The connectors really do look pretty good, honestly. They're way better than I was expecting, which is a good sign, which also means that not a lot of water has gotten in here. Now, if you did have a problem and yours is completely shorted out, I mean, it's junk, you get a new one, make sure it says D right here. Now, if it says G as in George, that's for a gas truck. Now, if you have the 6.7, you're gonna wanna make sure yours has the D. Now, if you've got the 6.2 or the 7.3 Godzilla, yours will say G right here. Now, don't drop these. It says scrap if dropped because the motherboard in there is super fragile. You don't want to drop it. Now, another way you can tell if you got a gas or a diesel battery junction box is this 50 amp fuse here. The gas ones will not have that one. So we're going to get some electrical cleaner. We're going to clean it up a little bit, put some dielectric grease on those connectors, and we're going to put some on the pins here. And I don't know if Ford probably says don't do that, but it's dielectric grease, it's electrical safe. So we're gonna do that and we're gonna put it back on in there. All right, so this is what I come up with the dielectric grease. I just dabbed it on my finger and kind of smeared it around in there. It might help give the bottom plugs, you know, a little bit of like a water barrier kind of seal. Not really sure, I just figured it'd be better than nothing, I guess. And dielectric grease is not conductive, so you're not gonna have to worry about electricity or a signal coming from one wire to another because it's not conductive. So we get this set back in there, bolted down, and then we're gonna work on the cover. All right, so I got this JB Weld high temp silicone gasket maker. I already had it, so I wasn't gonna go buy more. I'm just gonna run a bead all the way along this guy right here. All right, so I just ran a quick bead all the way around it. It might make it a little harder to get this cover off if I ever need to replace a fuse, but in the long run, I think it's gonna be worth it. That way I'm not going 10 miles an hour whenever the roads are wet and shifting like crazy. Let's get her put on. All right, just got her all buttoned back up, cleaned the batteries on both sides, put the cover on, fired it up, make sure there's no codes, no stored codes, nothing. So I'm pretty sure we're good to go with the dielectric grease and then the gasket maker up on top to seal it off. So the battery junction box should be completely sealed. There should be no way water can get in there. So if I continue having that issue, either the battery junction box itself is bad or I'm having an issue somewhere else in the system. But now we're gonna hop on over, we're gonna do an oil change and change the fuel filters. Let's get into her. All right, we got everything done. Lower fuel filter, upper fuel filter, oil change, and then the battery junction box. I'm gonna take it to a car wash right now because it is filthy. And I guess that'll be a good time to tell if the battery junction box thing worked. So I've never taken it through automatic, but I figured that'd be the best way to kind of get similar symptoms as to driving on a wet road. So we'll see you there. All right, well, we're sitting here waiting at the car wash, and I'd never expect to see a line like this. We're doing free car washes today. They are stacked out. So I guess we're just gonna wait in line here and get ourselves a car wash.
Well, after the car wash, I noticed a scratch going down the side of the pickup. I realized that somebody must have hit it a couple days ago since the truck hasn't really moved, so gotta love it. Pretty crazy that people nowadays, they'll hit you and not really care. They'll see that you have nicer stuff than them and not want to put it on their insurance.